a series on how to rough turn a bowl. Sorry my camera battery died last time, but it wasn't a really bad part where it cut off, so I guess that's alright. So now we're going to remove the material from the inside of the bowl. It's more of a platter, really, or dish. It's a very shallow bowl, but it's just the way it is. I moved the lathe back from the wall slightly so I could get the camera in closer, so hopefully it's a good view, I think. So let's move the tool rest a little closer to the face of the top of the bowl. Spin it by hand a little bit here, make sure we clear. Fire up the lathe. And we'll start turning. Speed that up. The happy shavings will get stuck there. Check our progress here. I'm just facing off the top of the bowl. You can see there's still some uncut edge here, so we're going to flatten the top of it, sort of, before we really start to remove material here. Still have a little bit right here, so we're just gonna keep bringing that down. So now what I'm going to do is take my calipers. I already have these set for the wall thickness, which when you're doing green bowls you want about 10% of the diameter. So this bowl is about a little over 7 inches. So, you know, you move the decimal point over 1 and you get 0.7 approximately, so a little bit less than 3/4 of an inch. These don't really have very good points on them, so I'm just going to scratch it in like this, since this does. There's about a little bit less than 3/4. And you just want it close to 10%, you know, it doesn't have to be exact. You want it 10% is because as it dries it'll warp slightly, so that way when you go back to retrue it when it's dry and finish it, it won't be too thin to cut, because if you take this bowl all the way down to like 3/8 or 1/4 inches, probably what, you know, the finished size will be, and you try to put it back on the lathe once it's dry, there won't be enough material left to retrue it. One of the things when you're hollowing out the bowl is that the shavings on this, for oak anyway, they get really curly. They look really cool coming off the tip of the tool. They almost remind me of rotini pasta, which is kind of another pasta analogy when it comes to green wood turning. You can see how curly they are just peeling right off the tip there. You just ride the bevel all the way to the center. Try to take as long as a cut as you can without being interrupted. That'll give you a nice, smoother inside. There'll be less ridges. You know, you want to ride the bevel. You don't want to be scraping. You don't want to, you know, be using a scraping action kind of like this. This is more of a scraping action. You can see what kind of shavings that gives. It doesn't really give anything nice. It's more like chips than anything. So. Center nub right there. So turn off the lathe here, and we'll check our wall thickness with our calipers that we already have preset. And as you can see, this is really shallow. This is probably only maybe 1 inch deep, possibly less. Check here with my homemade depth gauge. Just a piece of wood with a dowel rod in it. Nothing fancy. You just place it along, put the dowel rod in the center, and just push that down to the edge. So you can see that's how deep it is from the edge to the center. So that's, you know, about 1 inch. You know, and it just depends on, you know, the piece of wood you get. And when you get green wood, you know, you never really, you can't, you know, just decide that's what you want. So it looks like it got a little. You can see it got a little thinner, a little bit thinner than what I wanted here. And it thickened up right about here. So I'm going to just kind of bring that curve a little bit out. You want it even if you don't, the wood is still a little bit thicker than when it will be finished, so it'll be alright. So that's one of the things when you're working on platters and stuff, you really got to be more careful, I think. I usually don't turn platters as much. I like doing bowls a little more. To kind of make up for my little mistake there, I'm going to reset the calipers so that way they take this here, see where it's thicker. So that's pretty darn good right there. I'm just going to smooth up some of these tool marks along this edge here. Some really light cuts. Now there still are some ridges, but as I stated in one of my previous videos, wet wood is kind of soft and springy, so as you're riding the bevel, the heel will make slight indentations. Actually, the center there could use a little removement too. Just a hair. That's better. Okay. Alright, so I think that just about wraps up this series on how to rough turn a bowl. That was really quick and easy hollowing. Of course, with deeper bowls, it'll take longer. But I think the actual hollowing from the center is probably my favorite part of making a bowl. So you can see that's pretty thin. It's not very thick, even for a green bowl. So it's a nice little dish. At least it will be eventually. You can see the tenon. Now, for some reason, I guess this gets dirt or oil or something in it. It always blackens up or gets it kind of greasy looking. But that's okay, because once this is dry, the tenon will warp slightly. So when we put it back on the lathe, we'll use a jam chuck type thing, and the tailstock will be here, and it'll apply pressure, and we'll read through the tenon and the outside of it, and then we'll flip it around and do the inside. And then for this, I probably am going to remove the tenon. I'm not going to use it as a foot, because it's such a thin, kind of a flat piece of wood. I don't know. I might do some lifting on it, make a smaller foot. But we'll see how it goes. So maybe 2 or 3 months I'll make another video of this same dish being finish turned. Alright, see you around.